Hey, what's cracking? Me again. So, county jail. I was in the Berry House about 5 months before I was certified. Kenneth went a month before I did to the county jail. In the county jail, when you're certified as an adult, but you're not yet sentenced for your crime, they can't keep you with adults yet, not until you're sentenced. So they sent David there immediately. He didn't have to be certified as an adult. He was immediately certified as an adult, but he did have a chance to be reversed to a juvenile. So during that time, he also had to be kept apart. So they didn't have anywhere to put us in the Cleveland County Jail, which is where I went. It's called Cleveland County Motel by most, not a particularly hard place. Uh, they didn't have anywhere to put juveniles, so they stuck us in drunk tanks. Um, we were in drunk tanks for a little over a month until my lawyer filed a class action lawsuit on them because we were getting no sunshine, no exercise, no kind of schooling, no books. We were locked in a drunk tank with a Bible and eventually gave us a deck of cards. Usually you're only kept in those cells about 24 hours, but they didn't have anywhere safe to put us. So I can remember those days in there. I mean, I was almost 17 years old. My junior prom rolled around, and I'm sitting in a drunk tank. I can see out the window. The only thing I can see is some train tracks. I remember the night of my junior prom, how it felt sitting in that cell, knowing that I couldn't go home. My case hadn't even been sentenced yet, not knowing when I'd go home, and knowing that all my friends were out driving a car, going on dates, going to the prom. When I got locked up, I had just turned 15. I wasn't even old enough for a permit yet, so I missed all that. I missed everything you can think of. This might be a little TMI, but I was 35 years old before I ever had sex with a woman or a woman see me naked. Um, so yeah, I missed a lot of things, but I don't expect anyone to feel sorry for me. I'm not asking for any sympathy. I would rather have your hate than your sympathy. I committed a crime. What I did was wrong. When they came and asked me to turn state's evidence, I told my mother if they locked me up the rest of my life, I deserved it. I felt very guilty, and I still feel very guilty about what I did. If I could change one thing, it would be it. So anyhow, they put us in these drunk tanks, and we only got out 15 minutes a day. As soon as we get to county jail, first thing they do is they spray you down with this soap and put you in boiling hot water to make sure you don't have anything. I wish they'd have been more like that in the Berry House, because whenever I got to the Berry House, they put me in a cell first day with a mattress that hadn't been cleaned, and I caught scabies. It's the only time I ever had anything like that in my life, and it was a nightmare. I had nightmares about it. If you don't know what scabies are, kind of like crabs, but they get all over your body and they get up under your skin. They look like little blood blisters, and it is horrible, and they're everywhere. And they end up having to take me to Children's Hospital to get rid of it. And you can catch them just by sitting on the same chair as someone else, shaking their hand. It is horrible. Things you go through in jail and in prison is horrible. You lose all of your rights. Anytime a man can come in your cell and make you take your clothes off and bend over and spread your cheeks so he can look at your butthole, you've lost everything. Um, so we're in the county jail. We're in drunk tanks. We're only allowed ourselves 15 minutes a day. During that 15 minutes, we can take a shower or call home. But me and Kenneth's out at the same time, so you have to split that time. So what we would do is one of us would call home and then talk for a few minutes while the other was in the shower. Then when the other guy got a shower, run and take a shower, have my mother three-way to his house so we could save money. Each day one of us would call home. We would take turns. So David, he was in his own cell. Me and Kenneth shared one at drunk tanks. And it was like that for about 36 hours. 36 days, I'm sorry. And then they had a unit that only had 5 cells in it with 2 beds in each one. Had a small day room area and a phone. And it had been the place where they kept the mentally handicapped people. I mean, people who had serious mental issues, people that were probably going to a crazy house, not the penitentiary. So they decided they would move all of them to a different place, move us over there, have us clean it up, and we would live there. So that's what happened. They took us over, gave us cleaning supplies, we cleaned it all up. They let Kenneth's mother bring a TV for us to watch. And we spent a year and 4 months in that day room, or close to it. I spent that much time, a year and 3 months there with Kenneth. And what we would do is you could just walk around in little circles. At times they would bring other kids in there with us, but Mostly it was just lonely. We were there together during our senior prom, and at that time we would call home and take turns. You could, if you called home, it cost X amount of money to collect to make the call, and then when you hung up, once you called again, it cost again. It didn't cost for how long you were on there. It just called to make the connection. So me and Kenneth would take turns, and my mother and his mother were so awesome. We would call them in the morning and leave the phone off the hook all day. They would put music on. If we want to stop and listen to music, they'd make three-way calls for us. You can't do any of that anymore. When you're in jail, if you make a three-way call, the call is immediately cut off. Um, things were a lot more lax back in 1989, 1990. Things were a lot different. But anytime you're given a privilege in prison or in jail, anywhere, there's always someone who abuses it, tries to use it to get drugs in or something else illegal, and then they run it for everyone, and that's just how it goes everywhere. So it's been a year and 4 months in the county jail, and when I was living in a cell with David there at the end before he left, and one day they come and call him out of the cell, and he tells me he's going over because he'll be going to trial soon. He's just doing some stuff with his lawyer, and they never bring him back. Guard comes back, gets all of his stuff, takes it out, and my lawyer comes and pulls me out and says, I just happened to be over in the courthouse on a different case, and David was over there, and he just testified against you. And he made it look like you were Kenny Manson, and like you were Charlie Manson, and Kenneth was your faithful follower. So he said we were laughing. We were in shock. It wasn't laughter, ha funny. It was, I'm fucking retarded because, excuse my language, I'm retarded because what I just did overloaded my brain. None of us wanted any of the money. None of us. We all sent the money back. We all give it to Kenneth, and he sent it back. We didn't want that money. We didn't want anything to do with it. It's terrible. So all that time we were in there. After that day, shortly after, I made my deal, 2nd-degree murder in concert with 2 others. Kenneth told me, just tell on me, brother. Just tell on me, and they're going to get me anyway. And I'm like, no, man, I'm not doing that. So I went upstairs first, and they put me in with the adults. Man, they stick me in there. Everybody in the day room's watching me, looking at me. I just look like a little kid in here with a bunch of men. So a couple days goes by, and there's this guy named Kimmy, and at this time, 17. When I went in the Berry House at 15, there was a guy that was 17, almost 18, named Kimmy, 2 almost 3 years older than me. He's a lot bigger than I was. Time we got to county jail, I was around 5'7" still, and he was 6'2". So this guy, I'm sitting there playing cards, and he's wants next, or I don't remember what exactly the words were, but he called me a punk. Now, let me tell you, in prison, there are a few things you simply cannot allow. Prison, county jail, whatever. You cannot allow a man to call you a bitch, a punk, a hoto, matacornis, a rat. You simply cannot allow those things to be said to you. If someone says that to you, you can hit them in the mouth now, or you better stab them later. But you better do something, because if you don't, that's exactly what you're going to be. You're going to be some man's girl. They're going to take your canteen. When it comes time to draw down, they're going to bring you a list what they want. That's how it's going to be from here on, till you get someone else to protect you, since you're too weak to protect yourself. It's not always about whether you win or lose. It's just the fact that you are willing to fight. Man calls you a punk. In other words, a punk means that you are a girl, period, in the most disrespectful way. A lot of people say, homosexuals will be happy to be in prison. No, they're not. Prison is not a good place for a homosexual. Some people who aren't gay or don't understand it or whatever, I'm not gay, but I do understand that they're extremely disrespected in there. It'd be the last place you wanted to be if you were gay. I assume that they would like to choose who they're with, and in prison they don't have a choice. So we're sitting there playing cards, and Kimmy calls me a punk. And dang it, man, he's way bigger than me. I wish he hadn't said that. So I said, well, come on, we'll go sit and fight. He said, we'll finish your card game. I'm like, something this serious? I mean, finishing no card game. Let's go sit and fight. So he stands up and heads to his cell. I stand up like I'm going to go behind him, and then I'm really limber. I can kick high. I kicked him right in the side of the head. Knocked him over a table. Immediately I was on him. Bam, 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 flailing on him. And about that time, the guards are in a bubble up above so they can see your day room. The day room's around, and then also here comes the guards running in. So he shoves me back. I get off of him and I start heading up the stairs to my cell. They're hollering, go to your cells, go to your cells. So I make it about halfway up the cells, turn around. There's Kimmy. He's on me, man. So I slip and fall down, and he hits me 2 or 3 times. Bang, bang, bang. And I'm sitting down. And when he hits me the second or third time, I see stars. Couldn't see anything. Everything's black. So I just stood up and tried to grab him to keep him close to me. Um, if you know anything about wrestling or fighting, you know that if you grab someone, you pull them in close, duck your head in their chest, get your arms and legs around them. Even if they hit you, they cannot hit you hard enough to do a lot of damage. So if you can get in close and keep from getting choked out and duck your head, you can keep from getting hurt too bad. And that's what I tried to do. But Kimmy grabbed me by my shirt to sling me down the stairs. Well, in the county jail, they wash your clothes in extremely strong bleach and stuff to kill anything in it. And it pretty much rots your shirts away, or they tear real easy. So when he tried to sling me down the stairs, he just ripped my shirt off. And he's off balance, and I hit him, bam, down the stairs. He tumbled down the bottom stairs. And I think, well, that's going to be it, because this is some long stairs, man. It looked pretty rough. So he hits the bottom of the stairs and think, that's it, shit. He's right back up, headed right back up the stairs. So the guards get a hold of him, and I think, whew, glad that shit's over. So I go upstairs and around ahead of my cell. I get to my cell, and I look behind me, and he has got loose from the police, and he's coming in my cell, rushes me, he's hitting me, gets me up against the back of the cell, and I think, I just got my hands up, trying to keep from getting in. Like, man, I got to get out of this. So I catch him with a knee in the gut, and he drops his hands, and so I shove him. I start trying to hit him. The guards come back in and break it up. So we end up, they go and take us, put us in seg. And he's in a cell across from me. We can see each other. His eyes black, his lips split and fat. I don't really have no marks on me. And he tells me, Ricky Dye, you're lucky they didn't, they come and broke that up. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Because I've hit this guy with everything I got, and he is pissed off. So I said in one of my earlier videos, I've never been whipped by a man one-on-one, and that's true. I can fight. I've got hands. I'm good at wrestling. And I've always done pretty good. But let me tell you, the only reason I've never got my ass whipped one-on-one is because I haven't run into the right one. Because there are men in there who will eat my lunch. They're straight up monsters in that place, man. But we'll get to that. See you guys in the next one. Peace. Stay safe.